and welcome back. And I don't know if it's having Amanza on this evening. Amanza's breaking Facebook, breaking breaking our equipment too. Amanza.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You see it. You see when you have these big files.
It's
when you got
take
the,
off balloon.
when you got when you're dealing with the big files, people. We got we own pocket story here. We own confusion about the devil is a liar though. Amanza. What a night, folks.
What a night.
We are working out all of the kinks. You understand me? We ain't about to be jagabats. We getting some interference, but God.
Serious interference.
serious
My
interference.
goodness.
Amanza,
Wow.
where are we? Guys, thanks for bearing with us. You guys know we're trying to lift the standard. But the big files. The big files. Loading, folks. Loading. Thanks for joining us back.
Yeah.
Amanza, I am very, very heartened by your run for chairman of this party. And you know, in this business, you gotta be you gotta be ready for anything.
Yeah, be tough. Gotta be
You gotta be
tough.
ready for anything, folks.
Gotta be
So we were talking about how the campaign is going. You said you spoke with folks on the ground and they've been talking to you, about their issues, their thoughts on the party, the course the party is going to take. And Amanda, I think you sum it up the other day by saying that this is not just about the PNCR, it's about this entire country, and that the destiny of the PNCR is bound up in the destiny of this nation.
Or otherwise, the destiny of Guyana
Yeah.
is bound up in the destiny of the PNCR, because the fact is that we have in the seat of government right now an uncaring regime.
Mhm.
They have never, and this set in particular, they're only interested in enriching their friends and their relatives. You see the way the contracts are doled out. The procurement system has been completely decimated. They are not reconvening the Public Procurement Commission. The NPTAB, the National Tender Administration, is in complete chaos. I heard Irfan Ali the other day begging large contractors not to bid for small projects, but it really
Where are the
does.
policies?
But there are policies. And this is the point that we have to make. It really betrays a lack of understanding. But this is what happens when you take the professionals out of their
When you fire the
position.
professionals.
When you fire the professionals and you have just corrupt people who want to do as they please. The law is very clear. The law makes provision for the Procurement Act. It makes provision for set-asides for small contractors.
Mhm.
And so there's a whole legal regime there. That act is tied to the Small Business Act. So if the president were receiving sound advice, he would know these things. And so you wouldn't have to beg large contractors not to bid for small projects, because there ought to be a registration process.
And I think it's under the new AFC administration that
Absolutely.
we implemented the Small Business Act, which says
Yes.
20% of the contracts
Yes.
got to go to small businesses. Yep.
So these things are there. So to hear the president begging people not to do something when the law is very clear as to what has to be done, says to me that he's not getting the best advice. But again, this is what happens when you fire professionals. Guyanese end up suffering because they get shoddy work, they get shoddy contractors. Contractors, bidders have to be registered and they are tiered. And so if you do not qualify for this tier, or if you're not registered in this tier, then there are certain restrictions that apply. So you don't need to go beg anybody to do anything. What you need to do is to enforce the law as is.
And talking about that, the other side of that, I think is what Peeping Tom was talking about this morning, that if you implement and you activate the Public Procurement Commission, then they have a supervisory function as well. You don't have to, as Peeping Tom said, you don't have to lecture contractors about the quality of their work, because again, you have these systems that are in place.
So this is how they have utterly corrupted the system. When the Public Procurement Commission was in place and the NPTAB was functioning as it should, evaluations were done centrally. Their first order of business was to leave evaluation of tenders to the respective agencies. So, what does that mean? You are not assured that the people who are reviewing contracts to award tenders have the necessary training and expertise to so do. So this is why you have people with dubious construction history being awarded contracts. This is serious, serious business, and we can make light of it, as some people are want to do. But what it means is that when projects are not executed correctly, we got to spend more money to do it over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the taxpayers' money. And it's the majority of taxpayers who get a 7% slap in the face. All of these things are interrelated and interconnected. They're not separate.
And let me throw something else out there. Is when you have these contractors, the inexperienced ones, who are going to go and mess up, then they tarnish the whole lot. And people say, oh, it's these contractors here, X, Y, and Z. You got some big whopping contracts, no experience, zero experience. And then they're giving them because of friends and family.
But we, I think, as Guyanese people, have to stand up and demand more. This is our money that they're using. We get up every day, go through sun, rain, flood to work, and then they levy taxes on our salary. And these monies are what they're using, so, a large part of it to fund infrastructural works. So we have to have an interest. We have to care about the way the government operates. And so I think we have to begin to call publicly and to pressure them, as it were, to reconvene the Public Procurement Commission. That is a constitutional body. It was lying, well, it wasn't even activated prior to the AP and UAFC coming into government.
Correct.
This is a coalition that activated that mechanism. First opportunity the PPPC gets, its life came to an end, and they seem to have no interest in
Much like
reviving
some
it.
other commissions. You got the
Much
Police Service Commission.
All of them.
You got the Ethnic Relations Commission.
Right.
They want them things.
They don't.
And these guys will come and lecture us about transparency and accountability and good governance. Madness.
And so what people do not understand, Sharon, is that this will affect, for example, our ratings on the Transparency Index. Because, under the coalition government, it climbed significantly. We achieved the best ratings as it related to transparency in public dealings, public procurement. Now, with all of this happening, our ratings are bound to plummet. But you know what? The PPPC knows that they can get away with race baiting, with exploiting the ethnic insecurity of Guyanese, and maintain their grip on power whilst they rape and pillage the treasury. And
Pillage and plunder.
Pillage and plunder, and that is what they're doing. And so I'm saying to my Guyanese brothers and sisters that we gotta wake up and realize that not because you look like me means that you must be allowed to joke out my eye. It is, we have to fundamentally change the paradigm in which we operate. And we got to realize that we got to left and go to an island to experience, a good life, a clean environment. Why?
Yeah.
Why? As Guyanese, we deserve these things. And so I am passionate about bringing that level of consciousness. When you do that and when you take that approach, you draw fire. But that's okay.
And then Jack Byung in his press conference and said, the one Amanza Walton-Desir, come and broke up by
Yes.
my climate change consultation.
Yeah,
Good trouble.
It is good trouble, and it's trouble that I don't mind getting into, because Sharon, I always say, when I was a little girl, my father always said to me, Amanza, Guyana is yours to develop. Y'all got to do it. I will not see certain things in my lifetime, but you all are the ones that will put Guyana on the path that she needs to go. And I believe that with all of my heart. And so that is the upbringing and the ethos that I have. So this is why, whilst you could go live in any other part of the world, I've never been drawn to it. And so I think we have to, as a people, just realize that, man, we deserve better. We deserve better. This is one of the wealthiest countries in the world in terms of the natural resources and the bounty. Why are we like this? Why we can't go road with line draw straight, buddy?
Because we got catfish there. That is why. And Amanza,
You
listen to
know?
me. I love this process that we're going through in terms of the PNCR and the elections and so forth. But I am so yearning to get over it and for us to get back, to taking on these guys.
Yeah.
But I understand that the process is needed because we need
it is a
the
needed
new cadre of leaders.
it's a needed process, but as the old people say, we got walk and chew go.
Mhm.
So we have to be able to do both.
Mhm.
And so whilst we await this process to unfold, and I always make the point that the democratic election of a leadership team is not something our political opponents could boast about.
Mhm.
They get told this is the man we got to go there, and that's what
Yeah.
happen. And so yes, it requires patience, but we have to be able to do both because at the end of the day, we have a duty to represent the close to 50% of the population that put their trust in us. And so it will, I just have a peace that it will come together so beautifully
Mhm.
that Guyana will be all that she can be. I think our generation is the generation that is going to break that that heritage of racial tension and division. I mean, I was on Globespan the other night and I was making the point that the mixed race demographic is the fastest growing. And I said to the two gentlemen, you know what that means? Is that them young boy and young girl from different races and ethnicities falling in love, having children, and they just are not interested in perpetuating this race issue and the racial divide. But the older generation somehow keeps dragging us back to that, keep dragging us back to that, and we fed up. We are simply fed up. It is ridiculous that in these 83,000 square miles, we are fighting each other. And when we leave these shores, we are all considered
Mhm.
to be
Others.
one type of people.
The other side.
Yes, we are all considered
The other
minority.
side.
And so it is, listen, we have to begin to reject any politician that will come to us and preach racial division. We have to reject any politician that will come to us to instill fear. Guyana must be governed by a contest of ideas. Of ideas. You should win if your idea is better than mine. Sherrod, we don't have reliable power supply. Decades after independence.
And it's gotten worse on it.
Right? I mean, you could say what you want about David Patterson. And they say the worst things about him in the media. But you cannot deny the way our power supply improved under the coalition. I was privileged to sit as a director on the board of Power Producers, PPDI, Power Producers and Distributors, Inc. And the vision of that company was to have a company in Guyana that would pioneer, as it were, our transition from fossil fuel to renewables. It was headed by Dr. Aaron Fraser, brilliant young man. And you know what I saw? I was happy to be serving with such a young management team. It was just a bunch of young men and young women, and they were doing phenomenal things. The first order of the PPPC was to go in, to mash it up, and to put who they want to put to run it. We have to begin to demand from our politicians that they put the best people for the job, irrespective of what their hair look like, or irrespective of who they vote for. When are we going to come out of this foolishness? Something that is painful to see. It is like when you have a child and you know that child's potential, but the child just insists to do their own thing and to
If your name calling.
it
If your name calling.
It is heart-rending sometimes, I think.
And we feel that. So, Amanza, we're drawing down to Congress. 2021. You still got some delegates undecided out there. What are you telling them this evening? What are your thoughts towards them as we wind down our broadcast?
Earlier this evening, I was making the point to someone that we can liken this Congress to cricket and to the West Indies and to the selectors. The delegates are the selectors, but you have an entire support base, fans who are not playing on the team, but they are your fans. And those are the party supporters. And they're the majority. And they are looking to see who the selectors will place on the team. And so it is important that we select the right team. Because if you look at our guys, for example, those who will not be named, you will see that time and time again, you may not be putting the right people in the right place. And what does that do? After a while, your support, your fan base become like, these guys are just not getting it right.
This is like taught at foreign affairs.
Basically. And so we have to understand that the people who entrust us with the direction of this country are looking to see that we are getting it right. And so when I hear people say, oh, it's up to the delegates, yes, but the delegates are like the selectors and they have to put the right people in the right place to get the job done and to deliver a victory for the cricket team. And so I use that example so that I can bring home to us how important this moment is, because the entire Guyana, their eyes are on us and they're looking to see that we are getting it right. And I guarantee you that if we get it right, we will reinvigorate Guyanese, because Guyanese are desperately looking for leadership. They're looking to us for leadership. And so those who are responsible for electing the team have to understand that they have a sacred duty. They have to understand that it is bigger than them, it is bigger than any one man, it is bigger than any one woman. This is about the destiny of Guyana. Because you know what? Whilst we ain't gonna ever back no other team other than West Indies, we will not tune in when they're playing. And that is tantamount to, yes, we may not vote for another political party, but we become so apathetic to politics that we don't even go and vote.
Mhm.
And that is just
Correct.
as bad as
Correct.
putting your ex at the other people. And so I use that analogy to bring this home to us, that this is not just about PNC Congress, this is about Guyana. And we have to get it right. So that's what I would want to leave with them.
And we're going to let that be the final word for our program this
Thank
evening.
you for having me,
Thank
Sharon.
you for coming in the ring this
Always
evening,
a joy, my
Amanza,
brother, always a
and for
joy.
sharing how the campaign
Always
is
a
going, your
joy.
thoughts, your plans, and so forth for the chairmanship of the PNCR. And
I-
again, the Congress comes up on the 11th day of December. This is the PNCR Decides 2021, go to the 21st Biennial Delegates Congress.
And
Amanza,
I
thank you
wanted
so
to
much.
say before we go that I am just so proud of you. I'm so proud about what you're doing within the ring. I am so proud of the way you motivate people. I'll tell you a story, very short story. There are days that you go home, you've been in the villages, you've been and you're tired, but you've been with Sharon. And you know that at 8 o'clock, Sharon has to go and muster the energy, the strength to bring the program. And you're like, but if this is what Sharon has to do, who am I to complain? And I want you to know that you inspire other people. We see you as an inspiration and we are very, very proud of you. And congratulations on all that you are accomplishing.
Thank you, Amanza, on behalf of the entire team. Folks, that's going to be our program this evening. We are going to skip the shout outs for tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us in the ring. Thanks. Stay safe, guys.